Hello everyone, this is the Super Wig Maker, and today I'm making a video to reply to a couple of questions that a customer has. Now I really can't really see all the mails that I just saw this mail, and because it has attachments on it, and it seems that there is a lady that took some supplies from me and she had a couple of problems ventilating and stuff. So she just make like two videos asking me some questions, and I get these questions a lot, so I thought about how about I make a video to explain, because I have explained these things in my videos, like when I was teaching, the basics of ventilations and stuff. But I think that it's fair enough to say that some people just might need a little bit more explanation on some details on a couple of things that I just didn't explain very well. And this is why I am making this video about. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you a couple of videos from this lady. Then I'm gonna cut it off there, reply to this question, and then I'm going to continue with her own video. So let's just go ahead and see her own video, and I'm going to come back and explain a couple of things.
Hello. I'm the person that you've been corresponding with. Hi. And I have a couple of dumb problems that I'm hoping you can give me some advice with. So, I've done a little bit of ventilation here. We'll get to that in a sec. I've done a lot more ventilation here. You sent me these beautiful lace samples, and I've been using them to practice before I actually buy lace from you and dive into my wig. The issue is that, well, there's a couple of issues. And I apologize for the holes. My cat thought it was great lace too and decided to help me mid-ventilation. So I've run into a couple of problems. This was where I first ventilated, and you can see that it's sloppy. The hair, the synthetic hair, is damaged. It's just, I flat ironed this. It's heat safe synthetic hair, and it's still just not good. I did much better here, but nonetheless, it's still rough, it's coarse. My third attempt is much smoother, but I'm not entirely sure if there's a way to make it even softer, to maintain that really silky texture that I'm getting from the wax.
Alright, so I have to say a couple of things first. First of all, your notes are turning out very well, and let me just give you a hint about something that I saw that. Let me just see if I'm gonna focus here. I'm gonna hold this on my legs because I don't want this to be too high. I saw that you have like one needle here, one here. Let me just open that. My stuff is everywhere. I need a lab to work. One here, and then I guess you have like one here, one here, one here. Here's what you are putting a lot of tension when you just put these little needles there. You need to put more needles, and there's a good tip that a lot of wig makers use. There are these blocking ribbons for wig making that I don't have them, but you can also have these bands. You usually get these in these little cheap bags, handbags that you put on your shoulder or other stuff. Like this is like a band. So what you can do is, like, let me just show you something. First of all, as I said, you need to spread the needles more. So instead of having, like, if you pull this, look at that, it's gonna actually rip over here because it's only keeping this in one spot. So we have established that you need more of this, and one of the tips that I have to tell you that I really need to follow myself, because sometimes I just forget about it, is that you need to block with some masking ribbon, and you're gonna see why. Because if you put like a gazillion amount of needles to block your lace, like so, not only this makes it a little cleaner for you to work, and just put a couple more, because I really need to explain to you why you need a lot of needles as well, and the purpose of that. So now if I pull it, there's no weak point, because you don't just have like one or two or three needles. You just have a lot of needles, and like the pulling just gets spread evenly on this. Now why do you need this? Because when you have to remove everything, you would have to go in with your nails. Instead, you can just do this, and you can take your piece out without having to just remove all these. And then of course this is easily removable. Just take them up a little upwards, and you can just remove them without having to dig your nails into every single needle. If you are committing to make pieces for yourself, you will realize that eventually your fingers are gonna hurt if you have to pull out like 1,000 of needles or something. So that's one hint. Also, you just said that, let me just put this again over here while I explain something. When I ventilate synthetic hair, and I'm going to show you, I'm just not going to put any, oh, why not? Oh, well, I don't need this. No, I do need that. And now that I just masked it all, you also get, when you put a lot of things, like the lace will not move anywhere. Like I can't even pull it into any direction right now, because if I pull it like here, it just gets kept by this one. If I pull it like that, it is kept by this one. So yeah, the next thing that you asked me is, let me just, I have to get a couple of synthetic, let me just draw a little bit. Alright, I'm gonna get this weird red over here. Yes, the hair will get super duper frizzy when you ventilate that, and I think this is one of the first things that I had encountered when I was starting to ventilate, and I think that, was it me asking Dave or was Dave asking me? I don't remember because it's a long time ago, and I think I asked the question and Dave just replied that yes, the hair will get very wiry and, you know, out of place. So let me just take my needle, and I think that yours are much better than mine, so just take a look. Like, I'm gonna try to ventilate, oops, without my magnifying glass now. I'm gonna take a couple of strands. You can see how curly it got over here. Let me just put another one. And let me hope that I am on frame. Oh yeah, I am on frame. Let me just ventilate a little more, then I'm gonna show you. I think the less amount of hair that I ventilate, this is one strand, the frizzier it gets, because it's just one strand taking all the stress of the pulling. Oh my god, I am so used now ventilating with my magnifying glass that it almost gets so difficult for me to ventilate without it. Look how frizzy it gets, like look how silky that is and how frizzy that gets. Let me just make some more. I'm gonna close the camera, ventilate a little more, and I'm gonna show you. You're actually doing this correctly. Alright, I have ventilated a little bit. Let me just put this aside. The reason why this is happening, and it mostly happens in the first half, not so much in the ends, if you can see that, is because, let me just take some more here again, is because when you form the loop, let me just explain to you. You put the needle, rub the hair, form the loop, and then you fasten it, and then you pull this, and this pulling action is making this wiry. You know why? It's the exact same reason why. Let me just do this amount of hair, and where is my little scissors? I'm gonna use this. It's the same reason why you make the ribbons curly like that. Look at that. It's because, let me just do the same thing on the other side. This is more intense, obviously, but it's exactly the same thing. Like when you pull the knot through the loop and the lace just keep the hair being pulled, like, you know, in a tension, so it eventually just deforms the surface of it and makes it a little bit you know, curlier and kinkier and coarser in feel. So let me just throw this away, and I'm gonna show you how you fix it. You obviously did the correct thing, but let me just show you. Alright, so you need either this brush or this brush. I think this is a little better, and of course you need a straightening iron. Just take this and go really slowly in a very thin section. Wait a moment, please. Alright, I think I melted it. Oh, I got, oh, I had it very high. Damn it. Alright, let me just cut off the end because I just fried them. Just forget about this. Was too high on the temperature. Okay, the texture is like super silky. I think it's silkier than that. Like this is even silkier. That it doesn't even have any curl. So I think you just need to take your patience with this. Like let me just repeat it with less. Yeah. I really don't see. I don't know the kind of hair that you use, but this hair gets like super silky when I pass it. Like it doesn't. It almost has a mirror effect. So you're doing the correct thing. Maybe the hair that you're using is not very good, or maybe it has more heat resistance. So you need to raise your tool. In this case, mine was too high. It was close to 200, so it almost melted the hair. So let me just. So yeah, let's go to the next piece of the video, your video.
I had a great example. There it is. Ugh. I get my needle stuck on everything, specifically the lace, a lot, an insane amount. So if you have any suggestions, I will be in the middle of ventilating and I'll pull back on the needle and either it won't go through because it gets stuck on the lace right there, or I'll pull back and somehow manage to trap it on an even farther chunk of lace. That's really problem number 2. So problem number 1 is how to maintain texture in synthetic hair. Problem 2 is keeping it from getting caught on the lace. Now I have in here a 1-1 needle. I'm sure there's a more official name, but that's how you advertise it, and I trust you, so I'm going to call it a 1-1 needle. The hair is very thin and very silky, so I may discard a couple of strands here and there. I have 3 separate wefts, 8 feet of hair per weft, double weft, so I'm not really worried about losing hair.
Alright, the tangling needle, everyone gets it. Let me just zoom in and let me just fix the focus a little bit, if I can do that, obviously. Okay, I think it's perfect. I just don't need to not move it too much. So let me get my hair. And yes, the needle will get stuck in many things if you don't, like especially the carpet or something. Here's what, when you put in the needle, let me just try to see it from here. You just put the needle like that. You just don't just put it like this, because you're gonna penetrate the lace netting itself. You need to put it in a hole and put it out from a hole. I'm gonna place a really close up photo of the lace itself. It does have microfibers. Like this is not like a single line, it's a couple of fibers together, netted somehow. So you somehow just managed to put the needle in between this little netting going on, the weaving, the how's it called, the knitting of the lace. So this is why it might get caught. The other reason why you are getting caught, like this is a little hook over here. I'm not even going to use hair on this one. Let's just show you. You put it by putting it down, you place it like this, and then you take it upwards. Okay, so if you're gonna remove this, you can't really remove it like that because it's gonna get caught here. So what you have to do is you're gonna grab the hair and then just take it lower, like again the hook is gonna look down, and then you remove it. Let me just show you once again without any hair. You just put it in and then put it out from another one. And if you can really see that, you either have to have your own face very close to the ventilation, which is not very recommended, or you need to get one of these magnifying, you won't probably be able to see, let me just see, these magnifiers, this one, and I'm just using this for light right now. See, it just got on my blouse. So once you put it inside, you take it out from another hole, and then when you have to pull, you have to do exactly the same thing while maintaining the hair. So you have to just take it in and lift it like that. Now I see that, let me just zoom out a little bit so you see what you're doing. and it also has to do with the way you keep the needle. Like for example, I see that you keep it like that. So when you keep it like that, the hook is facing upwards more like that. So when you try to put it, it gets stuck very easily, whilst I keep it like that. So even pulling it out on my way is easier because the hook is facing this side. See, I can't even catch it. I can't, but you're using it like that, so I can very easily just cut it over here. So let me just try to ventilate the way you ventilate. It's very hard like this. What you have to do is just put it like that, and then, oops, well, I'm not used to this kind of ventilation, to be honest. I used to ventilate like that when I was ventilating with German needles. So this is a little difficult for me. Like you put it in like that, grab the hair, then you just have to look at the motion of the needle. You just don't pull it like that, just put it like so. See, you just have to make the face of this one face down, like put it down. Sorry, I just not sure, like I'm not used to that. Grab the hair, then just face it down again like that, like the way you just inserted it. You can't just expect this to just put it in. Alright, I just forgot how to write because this is the way we keep the needles. You can't just put it in like that and then expect to pull it out and not get caught on anything. You have to do it like that or something. I don't know if this serves the purpose. This is why everyone is getting caught on the lace. Like I use the needle like that. I'm putting it over here, and then for me it's easy. But there are people who are going to do that. Just put it over here and then just try to put it out. You have to know where the hook is facing. Obviously it's very easy to understand that, so just don't pull it like that. You just have to put it on the other side like this one. You grab the hair, just pull it over here and it won't get caught. If you're using it like that and then you just pull it this way, it will get caught here, but if you have it here, it won't get caught. So just know where your who is facing and you won't have this problem. And you know what, your starter, it takes a little practice to get used to ventilation. This is like a micro detail when you're ventilating on what to avoid, so eventually you're gonna get a hand of it. Like trust me, you're gonna be like A plus ventilator because this is the first time that you ventilate and you already make it very nice. So let's go to the next part.
So yes, a 1-to-1 needle, because that seems to be what I'm best with. Now, I've watched your videos on ventilation, and I understand basically how to do it. I have really shaky hands as well. But I'm just not, very good at it. Let's see. I noticed in your videos, it just sort of, the loop just sort of snaps into place. And I'm stuck. See? And now I have to let go, pull it through. I also can't see very well because we have several lights on here, but...
My idea, my bad.
You're good. Yeah, so you'll wrap it around and somehow manage to just make it snap to where it needs to be. I have to pull it through, wiggle it down, wiggle the knot down, and then call it a day. So if you have any advice on how to make that work, I've watched the videos, but I think maybe I'm just holding it wrong, maybe I'm pulling it in the wrong direction. I'm not sure.
Alright, the snapping thing that you said is correct, and there are a couple of things that you're doing wrong, but I used to do it the same way when I was starting to ventilate. Let me just rearrange the light over here a little bit. Alright. You need to keep attention between the hair, the needle, and when you form the loop. Like, let's see what you're doing. You're just putting the needle down here. You just pull this, and then you just keep it like that, and then you have to wrap it, and then you just try to aim to pull it through. From what I've seen, I don't ventilate like that, at least not anymore. I used to do like that. Like, you do all the things that the beginners are doing, including myself. So what you have to do is look at my tension. I'm pulling this through. This is very tense, like you can't even see that. See, it's still very, it's not like that. And then it's very easy for me to grab all this, put it like that, still a tension, snap. So the snapping thing happens because I wish I had like a microscope right now. Let me just pull this through. Yeah, I just lost one strand as well. It happens. I don't know if you can see it here. Do you see how this little loop here is open? So what happens is that I'm pulling like that, and then you have to keep this part of the needle in exact same, like don't put it like this because it's gonna get closed here, not like this, because it's gonna snap here. What you have to do is you have to keep the banded part of the needle in exactly, what's the fucking word now, I just forgot it. If this is horizontal, this has to be horizontal, if this makes sense. It has to be aligned together. So when you do that, like let me just put it like this, maybe you can see that. No, it didn't work very easily. Something like that. Let me just do it again. Maybe this time it works a little easier. I'm pulling this through. I'm trying to keep it like, do you see how this is open over here in the loop area? And this is also something that you will get the hang of when you're ventilating, like when you make like 1,000 knots. Well, you already made them. When you start ventilating and making your pieces, it's gonna be so easy. Like you need though to keep, like if I don't keep attention, first of all I just lost a strand because I didn't keep attention. Like if you don't keep attention, you're gonna lose some of them. See, I just lost all of these. Let me just discard them. That's why you lose the strands. Tension like that. You might still lose a couple because I dropped a lot and this needle is not for so many strands. And then you just do it like that, snap. And this way you can just don't even have to think about it, like snap. See that? Snap. And I'm not even using my magnifying glass right now. This is approximately how I ventilate. Well, when I just start ventilating, it gets a little faster, like I already see. I don't even have to think about it. This is how I ventilate. My normal speed or something. This is something essential if you want to make pieces. You don't need to take too much time to make one knot, obviously. And this is my advice on you. Just keep attention. Keep this aligned with this little loop, and then it's gonna slide back. That's the only thing that I can tell you right now. Even if it's like that, let me just try to do it like that. See? Even when I keep it like that. Oh my god, I feel like a beginner when I'm holding this like that. I can feel your struggle. See? So yeah, I'm gonna need a little bit more hair. Let's take to the next section.
I am going to be hand ventilating a closure piece for it, as opposed to cutting out the lace, as you suggested when I asked you in one of your YouTube videos. I'm gonna go and sew ribbon around the lace, like you did, and ventilate a closure instead, because that would make the job easier as opposed to sewing lace into my wig, although if you think that would be easier, then I can do that instead.
No, do your thing. If you feel that it's better for you to make a closure and then attach it to a wig, maybe this is the thing that you want to do, because if you don't like it, or if you don't like the wig, or whatever the case is, you can just remove this closure and just use it somewhere else. So if you have like two pieces, it might be better for you as a construction wig maker to be able to have two different things, so you can just combine them or do whatever the hell you want to do. The reason why I might sew lace before, like I have a wig, I just remove the closure part, sew in lace, and then start ventilating. The reason why I do that is because how do I put it? First of all, the customer will not want to remove this, and the customer will not have to do any construction working on the wig making. So for me it's easier, because once I put the lace in, I know it's clean, I know it fits everywhere, I know that the wig itself is correctly laid and slayed with the lace itself, and then I'm just adding the hair, and of course I just keep the existing hair out of my job. So eventually it's just the same thing, only if I first make the closure and then have to attach it, I might somehow manage to make the closure a little different, or a little, if you make it a couple of rows bigger, it's not gonna fit. like, if you get my point, unless you're making something like little barb gear, or if you just, first put the closure and then start putting the track, so you still have time to make it. For me, it's easier to have the base all ready and then just ventilate the hair, for the sole reason that if I make the piece and then I have to sew it in, then I have to sew in between hair here and hair here, and I have to put the needle in and out and just take the hair this side, so I sew in this, then take the hair this side, so as I sew in, and this is just a small section. Imagine this having hair, and this is a wig that has hair as well. So for me, it's easier to just make the clean job with the lace, make sure that everything lays correctly, that it's not going to flap up or anything, that it's correctly aligned, that it's not tilted or anything. And then I'm just going to ventilate the hair. Just imagine that there are hair over here. Who cares? I have it blocked, I have the ribbon, and I have a clean area to work. This is for me working. So yeah, for making a correct piece, I think it's better to do that, because if you make a mistake on a ventilated closure and then you attach it, you have already made the time-consuming part, and now you did it wrong. So what can you do now? You have to fix it somehow. So first I'm putting the lace, if it's going to be on a wig that I make or I have on my hands, and then I'm just ventilating the hair, making sure that everything is just fine. If I'm making a closure for someone, that someone will most likely just use it for a piece or a head sew in, so they're gonna have to work around what I gave them, and they have to adjust everything else according to my piece. So whatever serves your purpose, just go ahead and do it. It doesn't matter, whatever is good for you and easy, just do your thing. You don't need my advice on this one.
I can't see this lace, and this is the medium brown. And I apologize, I'm very slow at ventilating still. The two patches you saw earlier each took about an hour and a half. Let me see. First patch, hour and a half. Second patch, I used 3 of the 4 needles that I bought from you, hour and a half. And then I used all 4 needles on this one, hour and a half. So I don't know if that means I'm getting better or not, but that's where I'm at.
Okay, if you cannot see the lace and the holes against this background, you can actually use, let me just find some photos. You can use some like blue background or something. I can see that, but as I said, I always use my magnifying lamp. You can see that this is like that, and of course you have to be on frame right now videotaping this, and I have to be as well. But I usually ventilate with this, and this makes it all a lot better. And I'm just using this the last like 2 months out of the 2 years that I make units. It makes a lot of difference. I have already made a video on magnifying equipment, just see that if you want to. And yeah, being able to see the lace and stuff requires to be very close to the lace, sync 2020, and having good lighting, having a nice contrast. Maybe this contrast is not good for you, it's good for me. If it's not good for you, just use some like blue or red or something. No, red, this wouldn't be good. You need the background to be different than the lace and the hair you ventilate, and in your case it is. So my case is that I think that you either need magnifying glass or you need to work very close to the piece. I mean, your eyes need to be very close to the piece, which I don't really recommend because it might strain your eyes, at least in the beginning.
You can see that single ventilation takes me some time, but I get it, and I can use my method to pull the hair through just fine. I'm not very good with the higher catching needles. This is the 3-4. Yes, the 3-4. I have my hair. If I'm holding this wrong, if I need to spread it out more, let me know. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that one, though. Some of the hairs in this, like, you can't even really see that very well. Some of the hairs in this are very silver. It is a blue, black, light blue, and silver mix. So if I can't see the hair, I can't ventilate it, and I just don't. I should, but I don't, because it's difficult. I don't know if this is worth mentioning. I'm sure this is supposed to happen.
It's not in the frame.
I know, I'm not showing him anything. I don't know if it's supposed to happen, but like, I'll show you with this one. What ends up happening is I will go to grab it, I'll pull it, let go, and the hair crimps. You can't really see that at all. Yeah, you can see right there that the hair is crimped, which is okay. You know, once I get it through, you don't even notice it. My concern is more if I'm ventilating and it doesn't catch and it crimps, it makes it harder to grab onto and hold onto. So I don't know if that's something that you think I should watch out for, or if that's, you know, it seems like it should be normal considering we're working with very sharply angled tools.
Alright, we have already talked about the fact that this gets a little wiry and all kinky when just ventilated, and you can take this out. I think that you mean that when you take it, I'm not even gonna put it in the lace, when you just put it like that, it then has this little thing. Well, it's obviously normal because like you're using the sharp needle, as you said, sharp tools, and it will happen. But whatever crease you have, like let me just take this crease. Let's say that you have a crease over here. This is going to be taken out by the heat tool. It's very normal. Just don't worry about that. It will happen. Just take your time straightening the hair, and it's going to remove practically most of the crimps and stuff.
Total side note, there should be a safety warning with these. I stabbed myself in the thumb cleaning it one day, and it got hooked. I don't know if that's happened to you, but that was terrifying. That was like life-changing. I am a true wig maker now.
Yeah, you can stab yourself with it. I have stabbed myself in the past. It's very pointy, it's very sharp, and you can very easily just do whatever you want. It's like, it's practically a needle, and it's worse because it has a hook. So if you put it inside your skin, trying to pull it out, you're just ripping a little bit of skin. So just take your precautions. Just make sure you don't stab yourself or anyone else.
I'm also a big fan of your ventilation direction video. I've seen it a couple of times, so the hinge method, or the hinge fact, I guess, is the coolest thing to me. And see, that's why it's so difficult, is that right there, is I wrap it around, I go to pull it through, and only part of it actually makes it through. So even though all the hairs are caught, I can just feel that not all of the hair, like right there, not all of the hair has a complete loop through. So it's not a complete knot, and it drives me nuts. That's why I'm struggling with the 3-4, is I will have hair come loose, it doesn't, like right there, again, partial knot, not a full, so I can pull this hair right out. Although it's a silver hair, so I really don't care. I'm just not entirely sure what I'm doing wrong in trying to pull the hair through. I'm only just gonna get the last of this little bit of hair, and then we'll call it a day, and we'll start with that. And if anything else comes up, you know, I'll show you an email, and if you would like compensation of any kind, I will be ordering from you once I get this sorted out. I think I bought
Also, it's very normal for you to lose some hair. Let me just show you. This is, I don't remember if this is like a 1-2 needle, but this is very thin hair, so it can catch more. Like if you put it like that, look at how much it just grabs. But you're supposed to use it like this. The amount of hair that it can pull through is actually the amount of hair that it's designed for. Now, this is like, some hair are very thick, so this might be able to grab only one strand, and this hair is so thin, even thinner than my hair, and I'm European. Like, this is like 2 times thicker than that because this is synthetic. And obviously, even the 1-on-1 needle, it will be able to grab like 2 strands if you just, but look at that, you just make like this and just lose them. Like, this is like another tip. You also don't need to spread it out. I forgot to reply to that previously. The purpose of the needle size is that you can just dig it in, not caring, and it's gonna grab the amount of hair that you need. Okay? So if you really want to hand pick them, you really need them to be like that, so you grab only this one, for example. But this is the purpose of the needle, to just grab as many as it can and be fine with it. So use a smaller needle if you think that it grabs too many hair on its own. If you think it grabs too little, that you lose too much, and you make the piece a little thinner, you just put a bigger needle and it's gonna be just fine. So yeah, pretty much that's how. This is my tip on that. And also don't put too much hair on this finger, because this is gonna make it so much difficult for you to keep it, and then you're gonna lose more strands. Just put it like that, a smaller piece on this, and it's so much easier for you. See how much I grab right now? Because I wanted to, like, I can grab this amount if I want to, and look, I can ventilate all that. See? Yeah, I didn't ventilate it all correctly because this needle is not meant for that. So yeah, let's go to the next question.
It crimped. I bought a circle holder. I'm stuck. I don't know how I do this. And every time I pull it back, it gets stuck on something else. I bought a circle holder thing similar to what you have, except instead of stitching through it, it holds it for cross stitch. So when I do get lace from you, I'm going to be using that to hold the lace still, which hopefully will fix part of the snagging problem, because I will no longer be working on, in the middle of the air, as opposed to, or rather in the middle of the air over a wig head, as opposed to actually in the middle of the air. I imagine it's a lot easier to ventilate when you can dip your needle all the way under and all the way back up, instead of part way under and then wiggling it through. So, and I hope this makes sense. I'm not entirely sure. This is why it was so difficult trying to explain it over email, is because...
Yes. You mean that you got an embroidery hoop, something like this, or like I have a much bigger one like this. Yeah, it could possibly help you, but I think that the most important reason why you don't have full control of the lace is because it's moving. Look at that, it's like solid now. I cannot even move it from here. So if you put it here, it will actually grip everywhere. And I put some tape. This is Scotch tape because I wanted this to be malleable and stretchy, and this way I ensure that I have a better grip, because the wood itself was not really touching everywhere. I mean, it was touching here, but it wasn't touching here. You can see that it's a little open already. But with this thing that I put around, I think I pretty much just closed it, and it's gonna be gripping the lace on 360 degrees of the circle, and this is gonna ensure. Now, good luck trying to put this somewhere down so you can work. And I know what you mean, that you can put the needle in and then put it out without having to hit something, because this is just open thing. Like, you will be able to put it in and put it out. Like, I used this hoop in the old days when I was trying to ventilate on something other than the mannequin head, and I just remember that I put this in a CD case or something. Oops, I'm using the CD case to hold the camera. So I was putting it in something really heavy or something like that. Yeah, bigger, of course. And then I was taping there so it wouldn't move. Like, it would be like very heavy, so it wouldn't really move, because you need this to be very steady as well. Unless you can just put it down here and then just use these huge clamps to keep it down. If it's working for you, I don't know. Ouch. I just pinched myself as well. So yeah, I am a real wig maker now too. This is not going to move. So I mean, yeah, you would have to put them somewhere that they wouldn't really interfere with your hands, but you could very easily just have the lace on top here. And of course, you're gonna have to take a much bigger hoop, and you're gonna have to waste a little bit of additional lace all around the perimeter, because you want to have a clean area to ventilate. You don't want this to hit the ends. So yeah, pretty much I think that you're doing an amazing job. I have seen much worse than what you just showed me. There are people who, like, you at least understand so many things like the hinge effect, like you're doing it correctly. The only thing is that you are just starting to do that. It's like trying to do whatever you try to do. It's like driving a car. You get a driving license, you are a legal driver, but you need a little time to be used to it. You constantly look around you because you're not sure about that, and this is why you have an N stuck on your truck for like 1 or 2 months until you just know how to drive very carefully and correctly. So you are a new wig maker. This is the thing with you. You're just doing it very nicely. Just keep up the good work. I think that this is very good that someone is just making so much progress in such a little time. And I think that it's very good that we made this video, because there are a lot of people who keep asking the same questions, and I hope that I was clear enough and that I have explained it very well. If someone has problems, you can have a video and send it to me if you want to, or just put it online on YouTube, and I'm gonna probably just comment on that, or just copy the video after you allow me, like I did with this lady, and put it like this, like your video, then my explanation, and I'm gonna keep replying to questions. I wish I had more time to make do-it-yourself videos and reply to all questions, but I am so kept right now. I am one step. I actually ordered hair, so in like 1 or 2 weeks from now, I'm gonna be having a little bit of hair on my side, and I'm gonna make a video about that. So just stay tuned, and thanks for watching and your support. And I don't know if you can see that. I'm actually bleeding here. That I stabbed myself with a needle. But I'm gonna be fine.